Okay, so now is a good time to start, and I think that it's a great time to introduce our next speaker. Hi, Anthony. We have Anthony Viard,
Yeah,
and
perfect. Hi, May. Happy to meet you.
uh, happy to meet you. Personally, I'm super excited about your talk. This is a very important topic. I don't want to spoiler, so the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you, May. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. So today we're gonna talk about Kubernetes, of course, and the application composition platforms. And one thing I would like to show you and explain you is, we can use Kubernetes to interface the application composition platform. The thing is, you probably already heard about Kubernetes. I'm pretty sure that maybe all of you already use it, test it, or maybe read something about it. It's quite, popular right now, I will say. It's probably not the case for the application composition platform because it's quite new. So my goal today is to dive into what is the application composition platform and why Kubernetes is a good companion to make it happen. So for that, we will dive into the Nintendo implementation and check most of things, but I don't want to spoil you so much. First, let's start by who am I? So I'm Anthony Viard. So I'm a French guy. I'm living in Brittany in France, and I'm a JavaScript developer. So I'm doing some development stuff since 13 years, 40 years. I don't remember exactly. But let's say a couple of years anyway. And I'm working currently at Nintendo. So Nintendo is a company that is building an application composition platform. So this is why I can talk that to you. I'm also a Jeepster core team member. So probably some of you already heard about Jeepster. Is a open source project, a generator to create quickly Spring Boot and JavaScript applications. So included Angular, React, Vue. We also have I think, some support on Quarkus, for example, for different backends, .NET, and so on. In my free time, I'm a barefoot and sandals runner. So yeah, I go outside, I wear some sandals, and sometimes I wear nothing, only my feet, and I run. Oh, by the way, I have also a lovely wife we have 4 children. So one girl and 3 boys. So I'm very happy to lead that family with my wife. We have a couples of things to do every day. It's an adventure for sure. But no, let's start with the Nintendo. Oh no, let's start with the application composition platform. So the first things I would like to explain you is the definitions given by Gartner. So what is important is Gartner gave a definition of what should be an application composition platform, and we have 4 different um, points. The first one is you should have a catalog of composable package software components. So that will be, if you want to have the platform, you need to have first the components and the catalog that come with. You should be able to create and cataloging this component. So then you should be able to deploy applications using that component. And finally, the fourth point is to have the governance of the lifecycle of the catalog package and the composable apps. So if I try to summary that, it means my platform should be composed by a catalog, a set of components, the capability to create and manage them, and of course, the capability to compose application with them and manage the lifecycle. That's great. So, what will be the composable journey? And to understand that is, uh, we previously defined the Gartner's notions from what is the tool should be. But now let's try to define what is the organization should be. So the first point is we are all working around the ACP, so Application Composition Platform. This is the platform where we all will work with. Then, of course, this platform is supported by the hub. So we do something we call the hub. The hub is the equivalent as the marketplace or a catalog. So, sometimes it's like, the App Store, or I don't know, something you can have on Android, when you can have your multiples applications. If you want to if you want to add a new one, you just need to go there and install a new application. That's the goal is more or less the same, or the idea is pretty close, let's say. So around the ACP, we have first the creators. So the creators are the people that will create the new components or update existing one. They will maintain that. So most of the time, we will find here tech people such as developers, integrators, maybe sometimes also ops people, designers, and so on. So they are creators. They create components. They will push into the marketplace, the hub. Then you have the curators. So the curator is somebody that will manage the hub. So it can define the requirements or the requirements for pushing a new component, a new set of components. For example, the quality gate. I don't know the technology probably to check for any um, issue, such as you can have, with dependencies and so on. So in some way, it will apply the organization rules about softwares. Then you have the campuses. The campuses will use the hub in the same time and the application composition platform. So it will retrieve the different components to compose new application from them. So it's like building elements with existing blocks. So if I can have multiple blocks like this, I can probably build, different way and different applications. Okay, I'm just trying to see if you see everything. Okay. And finally, we have the consumers. So the consumers are business owners or users, or sometimes both. And they have some ability, so they can access to the platform to do some analysis, to do to monitor a few things. They can provide feedback to creators or composers. They should, by the way, because we need to ensure that we have the feedback loop. Sorry. So they can improve. They are actors in improving the existing application. And in the end, the enterprise architect is in some way leading the different composable apps, also to streamline the different components we have, to say, for example, that, oh, we already have that component in the hub, so we should, go to that one, go to that one, improve this one. So the things at the organization level, the enterprise architect is basically ensure that everything is coherent. If we go back in the past a little bit, we need to understand where we are come from. So the thing is, in the past, we used to build big monolith applications. Everything was in the same app. Then we started split it into different small applications like backend and front end and backend. Then we split it using modularity with microservices. Uh, so we split it the backend. So we split it into different small applications, but the monolith was still present in the front end. And in the end, we split it everything. So with macro front end in the front end, with microservices in the backend, and we are totally fully modular. The thing is, and by the way, all these things can work on Kubernetes right now, but modularity doesn't mean that is a composable apps. This is just a requirement. So you need to be modular, of course, to compose different elements. Once again, if I have let's say, a big component like this, and I want to compose application using another one, that could be a bit difficult because this one is really big. It will not probably fit all my requirements for me. But if I have three different smaller components that are more modular, I can then decide to compose them in a different way, or to go back to my previous idea, but have the choice. So, uh, if we mix modularity and composability, that means that our implementation is if you take one macro front end, one more macro front end, one more microservices, and you put it inside or put it together to serve a business goal, you will create a PBC. A PBC is package business capabilities. So you package elements in with some ID behind that. It should serve a specific business goal. So it is business leaded, and you put that everything into a bundle. So the bundle. So if the PBC is something that is defined by Gartner's that does exist, outside our implementation, the bundle is totally specific to our implementation, and the bundle is really interesting because for Kubernetes deployment, we'll see that in a few minutes during the demo. You need to have a good bundle definition. So if I'm trying to summary that, so let's say you have a bundle. Inside, you have multiple PBCs, one or multiple, up to you. And your PBCs is defined by one or multiple components. That could be standalone components, such as micro frontend and microservices, or platform-related components, such as CMS stuff and few things like this. We will not focus too much on that today. So if you check the Nintendo platform, so I like this slide because it's a mix between being technical and understanding the four C's steps we defined before. So create, compose, create, compose, and consume. So because we split the journey into four different steps that are also kind of roles for people that are working in that team that we call, by the way, the fusion team, we also need to have the same approach with the technical implementation. So the create step it will be used, for example, Jeepster, so the generator. So I talk in the introduction. So to scaffold new components, we have other options, by the way, to create components also. Then the create will be done in the hub on the so we can provide a hub. So an implementation of that marketplace that we call the hub. And then you have the composition that is made by the app builder. I'm defining everything here because this is important for, you will see, for the Kubernetes pods and deployment definition just after doing the demo. So just try to memorize that different things. The app builder is where you compose the application. The hub is where you retrieve the component or you push your components according to what you want to do. And the consume once is done by the Nintendo hub, called the Nintendo app engine here. Everything is working aside using Keycloak as the identity management. So it's important to have, Keycloak defined aside. And of course, all that things are managed by the Nintendo Kubernetes operator. So we have some Kubernetes implementation there. You can use, this is the little things, you have in Nintendo CLI. The Nintendo CLI is probably more for the development experience, the developer experience there. So not totally related to Kubernetes, even if we will see that you have some capabilities to connect your CLI to the cluster and having some access to some information, also deploy elements. Now, let's try to dive. I will that quickly because time flies. So the first thing is, if you create components, so you will define PBCs. I said before. So this is the creator goals. So the creator will basically code some. Let's say I'm a creator. I will create a Vue micro frontend using a Quarkus microservice, and it will be a product catalog PBC. So it will serve a specific goal. So it's well defined. it's something I can use in my application, but also my colleagues or for another application, they can reuse it or create a new component from it. So my goal is to code everything, make it all the things available and cloud native to work on Kubernetes and publish that on the hub. The curator goal will be to analyze and check everything, and being in relationship with the curator, with the creator, excuse me, to giving some feedback. Also say, hey, maybe you should improve a bit, your package because let's say the code coverage is not enough. That could be one requirement, maybe up to you. Or it could also be in relationship with the composers that will choose the different elements you can see here. So is a kind of gatekeeper, is a gatekeeper.
I was here the whole time. I just stopped the camera, but I'm here.
Sorry, May? Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's continue. So and then you have the create stuff. So the create. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. So we are in the create. So one thing that could be very interesting, but just quickly on what the creation is, you can have multiple hub types, such as local hub, enterprise hub, and or a SaaS hub that we have where we provide the internal hub. So the thing is, you don't need to rely on a specific hub. You can, for a given application, you can choose from multiple hubs. And you can also, for example, imagine using a community hubs. If I'm checking the composition steps or to compose application, you can see that this is a good schema. You have a page. You basically choose elements you want to have in your page and just drag and drop things. We will see that in the demo. That's also not, of course, it's not possible for backend things because they will run automatically for you. But this is basically what you should do. And finally, you will consume the application. Okay. So consume is you can manage the users. You have some kind of set of action you can do to consume your application. This is not a passive roles. This is, you are not just using the application. You are kind of actors of that, and so you can having a good feedback loop with creators or with the rest of the team. One more things about the bundles and how to create bundles. So some what I said is you can create bundles from existing ones. So let's say I'm a creator. I have some bundles templates available in the hub. So let's say, oh, that bundle is not supposed to be used as is, or I can use as is, but probably that it will not fit all my my requirements. So what I want to do is to create a new bundle from that. So I can do a kind of copy. I can create from. This is a create from action. I can fork, for example. Also, it could be just create a new bundle from that, and I can enable. I can then code the things I want to have in my bundle, enable deployment through pipelines, and iterate to that from that to having multiple versions. So bundles version 2, version 1, is version 1, version 2, of course. So I'm in the creation loop, and in meanwhile, the composer will be in the composition loop. That means they can use different version of the bundles, and every time we have a new version, they can access to the hub to manage their application, like using the hub as a source of references. Oh, perfect. It's demo time. So here we go. So the first things I would like to show you is I have a cluster here. So we are in Rancher. So this is my Kubernetes environment. I called it demo 7.1. And I have my application running there. So I have my platform running there. So I just want, I just hope that is zoom in enough. What you can see here, and I just want to put some intention on that, is we have multiple. We are in the deployment area, in the deployment menu. So here you can see that the platform is made of multiples deployments containers that are running. So the database, of course, the key clock we talked before, the app builder. You remember the app builder is to compose application. The component managers, we will see just after what the component manager is doing, but basically it will enable component installation, unit installation, and so on. We also have the app engine. So let's say the Nintendo app that is the core of the platform, and we have the Kubernetes service that is an abstraction layer of that Kubernetes API. So when I will add a new component, the component manager will ask the Kubernetes service to do a few things, a few actions for me to install these different elements. It's purely an abstraction layer to make my life easier. And we have the end operator we talked before. It's mostly to ensure that everything is running fine for the platform in that case. If I'm scrolling a little bit down, you can see here we have more than the deployers I've explained to you. That is because we will see that we have a running application there. So we have some microservices that are running there, and we can see that in the pods. So same, so we have the different pods, and you can see that, for example, I have my banking pod, I have my PDA, so I have PDA plugin. We will not see that there, but this is things that have been already installed in my environment. So that's why I have running pods there that are not coming from my raw installation, and you will see why. Just before going into the one more thing I would like to show you. So just before to going into the purely application stuff, let's stay a little bit more in Kubernetes. I want to show you that in the service discovery, like you can see that we have multiple services also. So every time you install, so basically it comes with the basic installation of the platform. Let's say the app builder service, you have the component manager service, you have the app engine service, and so on. So you understand that one deployment, one service, more or less. If you install a new component, we will enable this service also for you. Like you also have the banking service, for example. And that is the same for the ingresses. If you check that, so we have the ingresses here. Like, so you can access directly to the app builder. So we define an ingress for the app builder. For the different elements you should use from the platform, but also for the microservices if you need to consume microservices outside your cluster. One thing I didn't tell you before is if you want to have a good understanding of the different elements that are that the platform is composed with, you can check here the documentation. We have basically, the Nintendo app, so the core, the app builder, the component manager. You can find all the details related to that different elements. So let's go back to the ingress. So we saw the deployment, the services, the ingress. One more thing that it could be very interesting, and this is something we will see just after that, is if you go into more resources, you will see the Nintendo D bundles. The Nintendo D bundles are the custom resources used for each bundle we want to deploy into the application, and that will be consumed by the platform and by the platform to tell Kubernetes to install our resources and made our containers, our services, and so on. So this is what we need to understand there. And you can see that for the moment I have only six custom resources present there, and we will install a new one. So if I go back, we will go back just that after. If I go back to my ingress, so I can access here to my app builder. So basically, the app builder could be considered as the back office for your platform. If you access it here. This is where composers will define pages, will define the final application, while the application is available for external people, for consumers there. So in the Nintendo app. So the app builder is more for computers, while the entity app will be more used by the consumers. Even if consumers can access to the app builder to tune, for example, use this right or rules or something like this, of course. In the same time, we have the hub in the Nintendo app builder. So if you access the hub here, you will see that I have a local hub. Yeah, local hub. So this you can find here all my installed components, all the things I already installed, and that can be directly used for composition in my current instance of my platform. All right, but I can decide to switch to other components like using a PBC Dev 1. The PBC Dev 1 is the one I'm using right now for the demo that contains multiple bundles we use for demo usages, for example. So for each present here, you can see that they are undeployed. That means that, oh, it's available in the hub, but it's not available on your local instance, on your platform. So if you want to, you can do it. We will do it. So that's the hub. If we go back, if we go to the directly to the hub UI, because we have the hub UI, we will find the same elements. So you can see that this is really close to what you can find or you can imagine a marketplace should be. You have multiple elements there. You can choose and install them. But first, let's go back to the app builder. So my app builder contains and my application. So my application is here. We can probably dive into it before diving into the technical stuff. So this is a simple applications made for banking and insurance things. So you can see that we have different elements there that explain few things like a product and so on. We have other submenus like the credit card features, for example, and we also have a kind of sub website, sub application that is dedicated to the insurance. So you can have that kind of things like, oh, I have a dedicated portal for my insurance. This is my insurance portal. But I want to go back to the seed bank, and what I'm really interesting of is my dashboard. So the page my dashboard is really interesting, and we will use it for the demo because if you check that, you will see that you have multiples MFE. You don't know that. I know because I made it, but you don't know that this one, the checking card, the saving card, the credit card twice, are micro fountains. Oh, the same. If I'm clicking here, I have a transaction micro fountain. And here I have the statements microfontaine. And finally, I have the table microfontaine. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 microfontaine inside the same page. And by the way, just for the record, this one saving is made using Angular, while the different other ones are using React. Checking and credit card are the same microfontaines instanced twice with different configuration. One's to display the checking and the other one to display the credit card. All right. My consumer tell me, okay, you are the composers of the team. That's fine. We love the application. But the thing is, we don't want to display the credit card anymore. What we want to do is to change it. We want to change the credit card and display, a chart instead with the different options we have. Okay, so I probably already have a component that is doing that for me. So what I need to do is maybe we can just go into the page management stuff just to show you that all the pages you've seen before are available here. My standard banking demo is here, and I have my dashboard page here. So it's defined all the different pages we have inside the final application. And all of these applications have been designed using the page designer. So just let's take a few minutes to understand that that designer is basically the page we have here. So that's the final result of that. Of that. Here we go. So we have the different micro frontends I told you before. What I want to do is just to change this one because my clients, my consumers, don't want to have that anymore. Perfect. So maybe we can go into the antenna hub and let's see if we have any, I don't know, other solutions we can use. And we have, that's great because we have something that could fit with the requirement of the user, of the consumer, is the standard demo portfolio. So that bundle contains a Spring Boot backend and a React micro frontend to display what the user wants to do. The good things with the hub is you can access to the sources that are stored into a Git repository. So this is basically what you are doing when you manage any application code source for the application. And when you are ready to make it available for the rest of the people, you compile that into a Docker image, and the Docker image is pushed on the Docker hub. So for each, and especially for that version of that bundles, for each bundle you will have one repository that contains the sources and one Docker image that contains the compiled version of your different components and application. Okay, so I find what I want to have, what I want to use. So now I need to go back into my app builder and I need to install that and then to change my page. So what I will do is I will go to the hub and I will select the PBC dev, so the hub where I found my new components I want to use, and I need to select the good one. Unfortunately, you can see that this is undeployed. So I need first to deploy it. So let's try to deploy it. So the first thing is I need to click on deploy. When I'm clicking on deploy, it makes it available on my platform. So what does it mean exactly? Let's go back to Rancher. Oh, I think it has been deployed. It has been deployed. So it's deployed, but not installed. The thing is when it's deployed, and if you go back into the NTNOD bundles, if you remember well, I told you that we have 6 custom resources there before. We now have 7. And the thing is, you can see that the standard demo chart is present there. So it's matching standard demo chart is matching my bundle standard demo chart. So what is happening is when I click on deploy, what I've done is basically made the custom resources available in my NTNOD bundles resources there. If I'm clicking here, by the way, you can have all the different details about that bundles and that descriptor. So this is my descriptor. You can see I have the description. I have the different meta tags and metadata, excuse me, metadata here and the tags, of course. The thumbnails, sorry, is really big. So I need to go on the bottom. Here we go. And I have the different version listed here and where I can find them. So this is basically what the application or what the platform will consume to then install my bundle. So let me go back to the app builder. So the first things, as I said, is, well, I have the custom resources, I write everything, but I need to install them. So I can click here and choose my version and finally make it the installation happen. So let's try to go back quickly on the deployment. And I can probably see that something is happening. Let's try to check, for example, the component. Oh, I need to go into the pod. Sorry. I would like to show you the component manager pod logs. So if we go to the log and we will see the component manager, what is happening is doing some steps to install to retrieve and install the different elements from the Docker, from the standard demo chart. So for example, retrieving the Docker image and ask the Kubernetes service, so our abstraction layer, to make some actions to make it available. So let me just check if, okay, what is happening is, oh, it told me that I have an existing plugin. So what I should do, so okay, adapt them all. And we can go click on OK. So the installation process is continuing. And if we go there, the Kubernetes manager is, applying the different step. So let me close it quickly so we can see what is happening. Uh, if you remember well, you can see that the pods number are growing because we are creating pods for the different steps. Sometimes, we're going to have some pods that are creating by the Kubernetes manager or the authenticated service. It serves some specific installation process. And what we should finally have is that we should have the charts bundles that is starting. So let me check, for example, the logs. So this is purely a Spring Boot application and it runs. Great. So when I click here, what happened is I ask my component manager to install my components and especially my backend. Well, both things, my backend and my front end. The thing is, for the front end stuff, it's it will everything will be copied in the assets and can be used by the app builder. While for the backends, I need to create containers, maybe volumes. Probably, if I go into the service discovery, I will create also the services. So let me check. It should be present. Probably is this one. Oh no, this is this one. The Nintendo charts. So you can see that 1 minute, it has been created 1 minute before. So this is my chart, my new chart service. And also my ingress should have a new entry there. So I have the standard demo chart. I'm just checking the time. Great. So I think if you go back to the app builder, everything is fine. We can see that we have the update stuff. We can uninstall. But what we will do next is just to change the page. So my application, my new set of application, my set of components are running on Kubernetes. That's great. I can go into my dashboard, uh, go back into the design section, and let me just check that. What I want to use is, I don't want to use this, SD card anymore, but I want to use the SD chart instead. So what I just need to do is just to drag and drop where I want to use. Let's say on the right, that's fine. Then I want to publish the page. And if I go back to my page and refresh it, the magic happens. So what I did is just to replace an existing micro front ends to another one that will serve my specific needs. And we find, and the consumer is happy now because we just made the right things for him. Obviously, in that case, the components fit exactly what we want to do and what we want to have for the consumer. Probably that in real world use case, I would like to, I don't know, start from existing components or create new ones, or I don't know, do something else. But I will have several steps, but I can easily test, deploy, and undeploy things because let's say no, it changes mind. And it say, finally, we don't want to have that shot anymore. Let's go back to the card. Okay, let's go drag and drop. And then we can decide. So we say that this was the credit card one. So I can choose which one I want to have. And we can click on publish. And finally, my dashboard is back to the previous state. That's fine. But this is not finished because what I've done is just to replace my macro frontend, but I still have my things that are running on Kubernetes. And you know that I should save as much as possible. I should save the resource I'm using on Kubernetes. So what I will do is just to go back to the hub section. In my local hub, I can see that now the standard demo chart is available. I can click on it and say, no, I want to uninstall that, please. And the uninstall process is starting. And if we go back to the pod section, I should see that my pod is not running anymore. I moved from 12 to 11. So my pod has been killed. And so my application is not running anymore. Probably one of you will ask me, yeah, but Anthony, why do you have 12 deployment there? Is there something that is happening? Yeah. The thing is, when we do the uninstall process, we are not killing this, deleting the deployment part. Why? Because we don't want to also remove and kill all the volumes related to that or the data that could be present there. So probably it's still present. This is not active. It is not running, so that's fine. It will not use any resources there. That's great. You probably better know, you as a ops guy or ops woman, you probably have a better idea to when you have to kill them or when you have to delete them, and that's fine. And you can do it for your own. If you go into the Nintendo.org and the plugins, you can see that, no, the bundles, you can see that my bundles is still present anyway. But I can explain that because I've just done the uninstall. I didn't undeploy it. So if I go back there, I can see that the status has changed from install to deployed. No, I can decide to keep it as is because I will use that in the next feature. But I can also say, no, I don't want to remove that area everywhere. So I don't need that anymore. And finally, I can see that my Nintendo D bundles contain 6 elements. 6, and the standard demo chart has disappeared. So finally, we are in the same state than before, and our application has been back to the previous state. All right. Just in time. That's great. 42 minutes. So we saw all the different things. I'm just thinking if I didn't forget anything. Uh, I think we've done everything just in time. That's just marvelous. That's just perfect. Sometimes it's very hard to manage the time, but most of the time it's great. In that case, it's really great. So we have more time for the Q&A. I think we have probably something like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do. Hi.
yeah,
So first of
that's
all,
right.
I wanna say big thanks. Great talk. And I want first of all, I don't see right now any questions yet, but in order to get started, at least I want to ask you something. Um, since I'm a DevOps myself,
Mhm.
I always, and I was a backend developer before that for a few years. I wanted to ask, like, when you show me all of these possibilities, do you take into account how the developers will feel about the way that things are being done? Does it even matter? Like, do they need to know?
Well, the thing is, if we go back to the uh, impossible journey here, and I think this is the interesting point. Oh, let me just. What is the if you check that, you can see that it's more like a cycle of working. So everyone is working with other people that are, we shall not have, even if the roles are well defined, like I'm a creator, composer, and so on. You should also understand that all these people should work together. So this is why we call that the fusion team. So people should just bring together their own responsibilities, knowledge, and make it happen. So that means for developers, that should be very interesting to understand what we've just see in the demo is like what is happening when I'm publishing or when I'm installing a new component. That is very interesting because you need to take that in account when you develop things. Like My idea about all developers should understand uh, ops side is they probably should know 10% of ops requirements, while ops probably need to understand 10% of the developers roles or jobs.
That's so true.
For
Yeah.
example, for you, it's probably I would say for people as you that have that double I would say double skills, like you have been developers that you are no more on the upside, so you can probably better understand that part. I'm not sure that is always the case, but it should be, because first of all, it's interesting. That's true. And the thing
Right.
is we should not have a kind of strict border between that different people. We should have a kind of little overlap between both. So,
Right.
from my personal point of view, I'm very confident when I have ops people that can understand what I'm doing and why I'm reaching them. And in
Right.
the meantime, I think it make it very easier for him to, use the same language. Like we can talk about deployment, we can talk about custom resources, we can talk
Right.
about containers, things like, yeah, but I don't know. Also reduce the memory footprint, for example.
Right. And
That
you have a common language. That's the most important thing. That you
Yeah,
know that you have common language. Yeah.
yeah, that's the point.
Cool. Well, actually, I really don't see any more questions. So I think it's a good time to say big thank you again. I really enjoyed your talk. I'm sure everyone else did. And yeah, so you want to say your last thank yous before you go?
Yeah, yeah. Just so, by the way, just thank you to us. Me, it was very pleasant. I'm, I love talk about all these things. So if you want to reach me on Twitter, you can do avday4j. So I'm available there. I'm really eager to discuss with people and interchangeable all that things. That will be very very great. I have two different videos I can suggest you. So we made with my colleague Suini. So one with Massimo Pizzini, that is that worked for Gartner previously, and he did a lot of things about the ACP. And so the video is very dive into all that detailed things. So it probably more complete, or can be complete very well that talks. The other one is Luca Mezzalera, that is working at AWS, and the same thing. So this is a video we've made with Soini and I, and so we spent something like 45 minutes talking about all the different serverless solutions and so on. So that could be also very interesting for all that people. And if you want to know more about the application composition platform, you can grab
Sure.
our white paper available on the website. I don't know how
Wonderful.
you shared there. So just to let you know, if you go on YouTube and the Nintendo,
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure that
you
they
can
can
you can you
all
can
go
have
ahead
all those things.
and see that. We're running out of time, so I will say again, big
Perfect.
thank you
Thank
and
you. Thank you,
goodbye
May.
for
I wish
now.
you a good day. Wish you the
Good
best for the rest
day.
of the conference. Enjoy all. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye bye. So, goodbye.
This is all we got. Remember the revolution in our minds. This is all we got.
Lock me out of this life institution. I am angry and I only lose.